I recently got married, and this led to my friends and I making a horror short film the very next day with no budget, in the middle of the night while whispering the whole time. The film is called The Shine Killer Case, and it's available on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out if you haven't seen it yet. All of this started when some of my friends flew across the country to be with us at our wedding, and I asked Olivier to bring his camera to be our videographer at the event. So the night after the wedding, two of my friends are at my place, Olivier and my childhood friend Julien, and we get pretty excited thinking about using his camera and just improvising a short film during that night. But we have a few challenges. First, we don't have a story whatsoever. Both of them are leaving the next day, so we have to film it that night. And it's already close to midnight at that point, and my parents are asleep on the second floor. Still, we decide to give it a shot. So when making a film with zero budget, we usually have to use what's available around us. In this case, I show them two things. There's this creepy trapdoor that leads to our crawl space, and then I showed them my wife's red light therapy mask. This is used to make your skin healthier, but it just looks so crazy with this red light right in your face that I felt it would look pretty cool in a movie. So from there, we tried to come up with a story. We knew we wanted the film to end in the crawl space where the killer would catch the victim, and we worked backward from there, trying to find a reason for our main character to go in the crawl space. My friend Julien agreed to play the lead, but he never acted before, so we decided to avoid having his character talk. Since I didn't want us to wake up my parents, we had to whisper the whole time, which was pretty weird. We didn't have time to place any custom lights, so everything that's lighting our scenes are actual lights that are in the room, or in the crawl space we were using either a phone or the killer's mask as the only source of light for this whole sequence. The Sony FX3, the camera we're using, is really good in low light conditions, so that came in pretty handy for a film like this. The film was so simple, we didn't have any crazy tricks or anything going on. I think the trickiest shot was probably this one where the door is moving a bit in the wind, and to achieve that I had to lay on the ground outside and just move it with my hand like this. The hardest part of the shoot was anything in the crawl space because we were on our knees the whole time and crouched, we couldn't move very well, so it was just physically challenging. I was pretty impressed with Julien because he had to crawl backward on his knees really fast, and we couldn't do too many of these takes. Eventually, I got to wear the killer's mask and I was the one crawling toward the camera. And again, same thing, my knees were hurting like crazy. I couldn't see anything because everything was pitch black and I had like a very strong red light straight in my face. I was always worried I was going to hit a wall or something like that. In the end, I was a bit disappointed because we did many takes and I wanted to try to move a bit differently each time. But my movements were so restricted that they all ended up looking pretty similar. While we were filming, my wife was actually recording us on her phone, and it was pretty fun to have her participate in that way. Without her, we wouldn't have all the footage that I've been showing in this video. In the end, it took us a bit less than 4 hours to film the whole thing. I think that was a pretty good time, and I was just happy we did anything at all because the whole thing was very spontaneous. So when I started working on my edit, at first I was pretty happy, but eventually I started to see some problems. The problem was the ending. All we see is the killer crawl toward the camera, and that's it. We don't have a shot of the killer with the victim, or any gore, or any jump scare, so in the end, it just falls a bit flat. To the point that we considered just canceling the whole thing and not putting the video online. But I didn't want to give up, so I kept working on my edit. I thought if there was a way to add a bit more of a story and a bit more lore around who this killer is, it could make things a bit more interesting, at least for me. And that's when I had the idea to connect this film with Red Moon, which is another short film I did years ago, and it's also available on my YouTube channel. I really like this short, and I have a lot of ideas on how to expand upon it. I've been wanting to revisit this world for a while, so this one was a perfect fit. And then I started making these red scenes that just look a bit creepy, so I could add the text over it. Now I feel like the build-up toward the end is a bit more interesting. To me, just adding this made the story feel a bit more interesting, a bit more original. In the lore that I was writing, I added that the face of the killer is just so bright that it ends up messing up with cameras trying to film it. And so I wanted to represent that in the short. That's why I ended up leaning pretty strongly on this VHS analog look. I feel like this look is a bit overused sometimes in horror shorts. It can be a bit cliche, but I still think it looks cool. In this case, I felt like it fit the story. I was really happy when I discovered that in DaVinci Resolve, they have kind of a preset for it, and you can really easily apply this look and then really craft it the way you want. Also, due to this new story, the face of the killer needed to be a bit more supernatural. It couldn't just be a mask. I felt like it didn't really work as well. So I ended up adding a lot of VFX in post, trying to make the head of the killer feel a bit like freaky, and it's distorting everything around it. I'm pretty happy with the result, but what's funny is originally I wanted to use that mask in a film because I thought it would look cool, and in the end result we don't even see the mask at all anymore. So it's kind of funny, but in the end I do feel like it serves the story better and it makes more sense. Olivier and I wanted to try something a bit special with the edit. We shot the film together, but we wanted to each do our own edit and see how different the result would be. At the time of me recording this, Olivier has not yet finished his edit, but I'm hoping that he'll finish it soon and he will upload it on his YouTube channel. And when he does that, I'll add a link in the description so you can see how similar and different it is from my version. Alright, thank you for watching and see you next time.